Hello everyone, it's Julie from sproutsandstems.com here, and in today's video I'm going to be making a quick and easy low light terrarium craft. So before I get into that, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new planty content from me. Any supplies, plants, materials, whatever that I mentioned in my videos are at the link in the video descriptions. And for exclusive planty content and to get houseplant help, check out the link to my Patreon or YouTube membership also in the description. And now I'll get into the video. All right, so this is going to be a quick low light terrarium craft. If you need a little extra, maybe like pizzazz for an office, or at least like your desk area if you work from home, or something maybe to put in the bathroom or throw in a low light corner. So making a terrarium is actually very easy. We're doing a closed terrarium today, and a closed terrarium is a self-contained ecosystem. So you should rarely, if ever, have to water it. I'm going to try first to use this container. It has a very skinny opening. I got this at Dollar Tree. I have a lot of just like various shaped jars from Dollar Tree. So we're going to try this one today, and it has a cute little cork. All right, now that I'm done talking, I will flip you around so you can see what I am doing. The two main aspects of a closed terrarium are drainage and purification. Those are the two like very important aspects. So normally you would start off with a layer of pebbles or the drainage at the bottom of the container, and then do a layer of charcoal, and the horticultural charcoal will keep everything fresh and clean. In this case, since the container is so small, I just mixed that layer together. Then after that, I have potting mix and sphagnum moss. Now, this part is more like up to whatever you prefer, but potting mix obviously to like plant the plant in, and you don't need sphagnum moss. Sometimes in bigger terrariums, a layer of moss, like reindeer moss or something, or sheet moss, looks nice and can make a nice, like pretty effect. Sphagnum moss, I wanted to add in here because sphagnum moss can actually sometimes be rehydrated and eventually turn green again. I've had that happen in terrarium, so I think over time that'll make a nice look. But at the end of the day, you really just need drainage, charcoal, and potting mix. That's like the bare minimum. Okay, now I'm going to add my drainage and charcoal. All right, first step done. I did try to make a makeshift funnel, but the opening was still too small for the funnel and the pebbles and whatnot, so I just went in with my hands. A word of caution, charcoal can be really messy, so don't wear a shirt, a light color shirt that you like. Now I'm going to just I'm just going to do this with my hands. Pinch, add. Now I pre-moistened this because I just thought it would be easier since the opening again is so small. Usually what you'd want to do with a terrarium is plant everything in there and then spray it down with water afterwards. But I pre-moistened this, and I'm going to have to figure out how to clean off the bottleneck part. But we'll cross that bridge in a minute when we get there. The plant that I'm going to use for this is actually a little cutting from my Raven ZZ. Okay, tilted the camera up for like 2 seconds just so you can get a better view of the plant. Yes, ZZ plants typically want to dry out and don't really enjoy staying moist for long periods of time. However, this one has been in my greenhouse cabinet for a while, and I've determined that this plant is okay with moisture because the greenhouse cabinet is very humid and plants take a long time to dry out in there. So that's one. And then number two, I'm going to take a cutting. So I'll essentially be propagating the cutting in the terrarium, and moisture is helpful for root development. So even though the ZZ typically likes drier soil, I'm confident it will be okay in here. And I think I'm going to take this little cutting. It should be interesting trying to get this in the hole, but we'll just see what happens. Then if I can't get it in, we'll go to plan B. I don't know what plan B is yet, but we'll go there if we have to. I'm going to take my chopstick, make a little hole in the center. So I think what's going to happen in here is I'm just going to kind of have to like drop it in and then attempt to position it, but just kind of like wherever it lands might be where it hangs out, but that's okay. Plants don't have to be like perfectly potted up in a perfect little hole in order to root. Like that's not how plants are in the wild. Should I take one of these leaves off? I don't really want to, but the answer might be yes. I will take this bottommost leaf off. Okay. I've folded the leaves inward. Kind of like, oh, there we go. Yes. That worked perfectly. Kind of, I probably should have cut the stem a little shorter, but it's too late now, so we will see. There. I'm just using my chopstick to kind of position the leaves outward. Quick explanation of what I did. I kind of went to plan B. So I had taken one leaf off, so I had 3 Raven ZZ leaves, and then I just could not get it positioned how I wanted it, so I ended up taking another off. But in terms of like decor or whatever, things typically look better in odd numbers, so it looked weird just having 2 leaves. So I added some tiny peperomia cuttings to kind of, so the Raven ZZ leaves are kind of now like cradling the peperomia cuttings, and just to give it a little more like depth and like color and whatnot. So I did stick with the Raven ZZ, but I also added some tiny peperomia cuttings, and that was pretty much that. I just kind of like dropped them. I apologize, I didn't film that part. I decided to, it was a last minute decision after I had stopped filming, but I basically just dropped them in there just like I did the Raven ZZ, and used a toothpick to kind of like position them around a little. And it's not perfect, but once the plants establish themselves in your terrarium, once their roots are nice and in there and they start growing towards the light, it'll look like a little bit more natural. And just a quick tip to get like the potty mix off the sides, what I did is I stuck this, and then I kind of wrapped the chopstick in it just to give it a little more like stiffness and structure to actually go around. That was a quick and easy low light terrarium craft, and now I will show you a better view of the final result. You can see some of the moisture on the inside and some of the potting mix, so I wasn't able to get it perfect, but I don't know, I kind of like that, like a natural look. So that's it. You just need pebbles, charcoal, potty mix, and a plant that likes moisture and humidity, and a low light plant if you want to keep it in a low light space. You really shouldn't need to water it much, if at all. Something like this that's not like super sealed tight, I'll have to mist with more water or just dribble a little bit in every once in a while. But something that is, if you have a jar that is really sealed tight, you really shouldn't have to ever water it. And even if you have a bright light loving plant, you don't want to put your terrarium in too bright light, because it literally is a little greenhouse in here. So the plants being inside this glass, it can actually like roast the plants if it gets too bright. So that's not what I'll be doing with this, but I just wanted to let you know of that. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you guys next time.